I am a Black woman who was labeled a Negro student in a nearly all-white junior high in Colorado. I was sometimes isolated and often afraid. It was in these difficult circumstances that I met Quade Smith in 1970 when we were both 14 years of age. Quade was tall, freckled, and handsome with his sparkling blue eyes and horn-rimmed glasses. He was nice to me in an often hostile situation. Quade was especially impressive because at the age of 14, he had already climbed all 53 of the Colorado Rocky Mountains that are over 14,000 feet in height. Quade was amazing. He had done all of this when he was just 12 years of age with his father and 3 brothers. They are known as the Climbing Smiths. They were sometimes featured in the Empire magazine that came to our house on Sundays. Quade asked me out on one date. His dad, George Nash Smith, dropped him off at my house. Quade nervously entered our home. And my dad, James Alvin Moore, a Denver police officer, acted just like a sitcom dad, making sure to scare the pants off my 14-year-old suitor. I don't remember what we did on our date. I do know that Quade did not ask me out again, but I pulled up my big girl panties and asked him out on a date for the Sadie Hawkins Day dance. Quade turned me down. My heart was bruised. I didn't know why he wouldn't ask me out again. Was he afraid to date a Negro girl? It was a long time before I saw him again. So in 2019, I was absolutely shocked to get an invitation to our 45th high school reunion. I was nervous. I said, okay, I'm gonna do this. So I wiggled into my Spanx and I drove to the gathering. It was amazing to run into friends that I had not seen in 45 years. I regaled them with tales of my having been a police officer for 10 years for the city of Denver, Colorado. I was the very first African-American woman to be transferred over to the gang unit. As I'm telling this story, Quade is actually in the crowd listening to me. I didn't recognize him, but I did see this man with snow white beard and sparkling blue eyes, and I thought, oh my goodness, he is handsome. And Pam Livingston pipes in, isn't it so nice to see Quade Smith? And my heart nearly stopped. Quade Smith? My junior high crush is here? Quade asked me out that evening, and I found out he was even more impressive now. By now, he had climbed over 350 of the world's mountains that are over 14,000 feet in height. He was retired, he had helped his dad write his book, and now he's talking to me. He kept asking me out. We went hiking and to the movies. We just talked for hours. He took an interest in everything that I did. He even went with me to my mother's Alzheimer's care facility to visit a dotty, frail old woman. But then he came over to my house on a very cold winter's day, and he slipped on my front porch, and he heard a loud pop, and he hobbled back into the house. He asked me to bring him an ice pack. I immediately grabbed that. The next day, I drive him to urgent care. The people at urgent care said, you need to see your doctor. We go to the doctor's office. The news is not great. Quade had broken his fibula. Surgery was scheduled for the following week. I immediately moved out of my house and into his house to nurse him back to health. Besides, I was afraid he could sue the pants off me. This accident was serendipitous, to say the very least. Eating, living, laughing, and loving together was an absolute gift. It allowed me to get to know a beautiful, well-rounded human being. Quade expressed interest in marrying me. Huh. He took me to his favorite jewelry store and had me help him pick out my ring. The ring was delivered several weeks later. He didn't know that I'd seen it be delivered, and he didn't know that I'd seen him put it away. But he didn't propose. And he didn't propose. Another month and another month go by. And I got nervous. I was a nervous wreck. Had he changed his mind about marrying me? Then one night he pops up out of bed. He's rumbling around in his dresser drawer. He comes back to bed, and I must tell you, he was wearing his very best outfit. Nothing at all. So he pops back into bed, and he looks at me earnestly. He says, "You are my very best friend and my go-to person. And I want to spend my life with you. Will you marry me?" I laughed. And of course I said yes to the naked guy. So, on the spring equinox in 2023, I got to say I do to my very best friend. And I must tell you, I absolutely believe in the power of Cupid's arrow. And I am absolutely smitten.